Mm, are we live? Oh, okay. Hi. Oh, well, hi everyone. This is the first alone with Armanda that we are going to help. So I'm really happy to see some friendly names there. It's the first time that I stream, so please be patient with me. I'm a little nervous. I'm super grateful with Tony and everyone on the Plus One X team to let me join. So, well, for those of you who don't know me, I'm Armanda. I'm a ttrpg designer, mostly focused on solo gaming. So, well, we are going to do this actual plays, and well, today we have a really good chance to talk with Alfred later. So Alfred Valley is the designer of the game that we are going to play today. It's a game that it's still on development. It's going to hit some crowdfunding methods for Simo. So that's that. For those of you who don't know Alfred Valley, he's a TTRPG designer, and he has many games, but mostly the the ones that I love a lot are Lay of Hands, a solo game about a post-apocalyptic world, and he has Dotman 2, a small business card that you play with a coin, and it's really amazing. And he's a really cool person. I'm thrilled to be able to play this game before everyone else. I have to confess that I am really thrilled with that. So for today's stream, we are going to suffer me playing this game. I say suffer because, as um, most of us already know, because of all that we've been saying, this is a Mothership RPG solo adventure. So I'm not saying that I am going to survive, but I am going to try. And we are going to play for about 50 minutes, more or less. And then Alfred will join us to talk a little about him, his project, and how he designed this game. I'm like over the top with that. With this, I'm really happy to be able to talk to him about this. Uh, First of all, I want to say that I am not going to be able to show a lot about the game because, as I have told you, uh, Alfred is still developing this game. So I'm going to show you, for starters, what's some draft related to the cover of the game. All the art is based on a Xeroxy style, and it's really cool, and I love it. I've told Alfred before that it reminds me a lot of those graphics that used to come in the American scientific magazines. When I was a child, my dad used to buy them, and all those crazy lines and things that, like, DNA and things like that, that when you're a child you don't understand. Know that I understand them now, but it's really amazing what Alfred has done with this. Uh, and well, so uh, whew, we're going to talk about a little bit about this game. For those that don't know about it, Mothership is an OSR style game that happens mostly in space, in which normally like you go into a spaceship or a planet or something like that, and alien things happen. Like the game is heavily inspired in alien films, and wow, I love that thing. I'm not an OSR girl, but Mothership, it's like wow, I love it, and I was really happy when Alfred told me that he was doing this game, and well, I'm going to just cross some things in my list of things to talk about because I wanted to be everything a little bit organized. And without further ado, we're going to start by reading some material from the book. The game is called Thousand Empty Light. In it, you are the different thing is that we are in space, but we are going to get into a facility underwater. This planet is like water and hostile, and you don't want to be there except if you have one of the most Victorian job positions that you can get in the distant future, that it's to be a lamp lighter. Uh, and this is where we're going. Um, I'm going to start reading some of the pieces that Alfred put together for this game because I have to tell that the immersive experience this game has is amazing. It's like I can't wait to see the complete layout of this game because it's like wow, it's all made like a manual of operation and it's mind blowing. I wish I could do this, to be honest. Okay, a message from the director. The backbone of our business is the status quo: reliability, resilience, resourcefulness. These are the virtues that Hasmos provide as the backbone of the settled cosmos. In the light and in the dark, the blaze and the chill, the peaks and the depths, we are the quiet constant keeping the lights on. Nowhere is the better exemplified than in our force of lamplighters. Your hard work to maintain the most challenging sites under our purview is not taken for granted. Tell O22, the affectionately named Thousand Empty Light, is considered one of the most unique sites in our portfolio. This year marks the 15th anniversary of being awarded this service contract. I am confident that no other corporation could provide such an uncompromising attention to its singular demands. Embrace the purity of your profession. Whatever the environment, the job remains the same. Restore power where there is stasis, light where there is darkness. You carry the torch of an esteemed club of professionals. Please join me in taking this moment to remember the lighters who have fallen in the line of duty at Tel 022. No recorded fatalities. Sincerely, Shay Louvet, Director. Okay, well, for starters, we are lamplighters. This planet, as we can see, is a complicated planet. For the overview of the planet, we have something that Alfred also writes, that unadopted planetary body 154, UPV 154, is uninhabited and classed as hostile for the purpose of colonization. Tel 022 is the only known artificial structure on the planet. The high level of electromagnetic interference renders secure planet to craft communication impossible. No SATCOMs are to be made from Tel 022. I want to show you more or less also the map of the place we are going to be playing. We are not going to play all along, but the game is planned to have there the caisson and no, to the other side, and five sections. Yeah. So it's beautifully done. I love it. Okay, for starters, we are going to make a Mothership character. This is the character sheet. Yeah. I'm not sure if you have played before Mothership, but I have decided some things beforehand so the stream doesn't get like wow too too long. But it's super easy to make a character in Mothership, as most characters on any OS or a game. So for starters, my name is going to be Mara Jacobs. I'm a lamplighter level 1. Um, I'm not going to I'm not going to roll for starting credits because I don't think that I'm going to be able to buy anything here. But we're going to start with the stats. Yeah. For those of you who don't know, we have to roll. I'm going to do this live to roll 6 d10. So I have a lot because my first non D&D game was Vampire the Masquerade. So I have a lot of d10s. Okay, oof. This is for strength. As I'm going to pick the Teamster class because it's the worker class in the game. So I'm going to go with that. It feels like the normal thing to do because I don't see a scientist or an android or a marine being a lamplighter, to be honest. So 7, 10, 16, 18. And I have a +5 because I'm a Teamster. So that would be 18, 20, 23 for my strength. For my speed, another 6 d10. Wow, I get a 10 here, 9, 19, 20. Sorry, I'm going to count in Spanish because it's easier. 26, 28, plus also 5 because I'm a Teamster. So that's 28 plus 5. That's 33. I'm going to roll for intellect. I don't think that I'm going to use this a lot, but 8, 12, 15, 21, 28. Just 28. Oh God, I'm having the worst luck ever for these rolls. Like normal media for this is like above 30, and I have a 23 in strength. I'm going to die. 33 in speed and 28 in intellect, and let's see combat. Please, just for you to know, all the checks in Mothership, you have to roll a d100 and roll the same or below your stat. So that's going to be hard. Oh wow. I'm really going to die. Sorry. I'm creating mystery, but 14, 19 of combat. Oh wow. Uh, okay, so just as a reminder for you to check this out while I die. Uh, hopefully not fast enough, but I got a 23 for strength, a 33 for speed, a 28 for intellect, and 19 for combat. So my plan for this is like the good thing about this game is that mostly I can build up whatever I want. There's an oracle, but it's like really abstract, so I'm going to run away. uh this is going to be hard, but okay. For if I recall correctly, I don't have anything to add to my sanity check. Sanity is what I have to roll whenever I need to rationalize something. That would be a 30. For fear is when I'm surprised or feeling lonely. 35. For body, hunger, disease, or infection, 30. And for armor, I have 35, but I have, for my class, I'm going to pick the exploration loadout. That's what happens later. You have 4 loadouts. I'm not going to enter in a lot of details, but I'm going to pick the exploration one that it has a back suit, and that gives me a 7% extra for armor resistance. It's not called armor resistance, but it's something like that. So I'll have a 42 if I am on my back suit. Oh, there we are seeing the map. We enter through the caisson at the long column next to the one, and I plan to do that and section number 1 at least. I'm in love with the graphics of this game. God, it's so amazing. Okay, so I'm a teamster, and once per session, as a teamster, I can re-roll a roll on the panic effect table. Hopefully, that's useful. So for I'll have this back suit, and I'm taking a vibe sheet. I'm not sure how that's pronounced, but it's like a machete that vibes. I assume that would be my my weapon of choice. I have Alfred made some special things for the clearance process for you to get into this facility. He recommended some skills that I bought. That it's to have jury rigging and then mechanical repair. I have, for because I'm a teamster, also mechanical repair and zero-G. And I add scavenging so I could get Jurgen, because if you haven't seen before, I love this from Mothership. It's like the skills tree is like a Civilization 6 tech tree. So you need to have the ones that are related to the one you want in the second level, and it's really, really amazing. But to have Jurgen, you need to have uh, scavenging, so I add that. Mm, and I have computers, and that's that. No, computers, no. I have mechanical repair, sorry. I'm not going to enter in details on how you buy skills, but you have certain amount of points, and you have to have the first one to get the second one, and the second one to have the third. And normally you have some arrows that tell you which ones you need to have that. So then I have a flashlight, I have a rebreather in case we get into water. I hope we don't. I have a dive gauge, and I like a lot. This is like typical from OSRs. You have two random lists in which you pick some stuff for your character that you roll in a big list. In this case, are for trinkets and patches, like the patches you have here. And I for that one, I I choose one. Sorry, I broke the OSR rule of rolling whenever you have to roll. Mm, and I pick one that says "Eat the Rich." And for the trinket, I roll, and I got some gloves, leather, made with cenoform hide. So, okay. Without further ado, we are going to read a little bit more about the game. I read this. Sorry, I'm going to check everything that I've done. Okay. Procedure. So my objectives are to restore light and power to all sections until 022. That's not going to happen because we are not going to play that long. Yeah, a classic patch, I know. And Then return to Kazon at surface level for airlift. The main generator is out of order permanently, and as we know, we are lamplighters, so for some reason this has to be turned on. Yeah. The 5 sections are designed to be able to function as self-contained units. Alfred's sorry, I just saw the chat, and Alfred sent me his playthrough, and his patch was loner, which is really good. I like it a lot too. Okay, so each unit has its own backup generator. So the idea is that you go through all the areas, turn each a backup generator, and then you see what is going wrong with the general one. Without power, the tunnel is at risk of corrosion and structural deterioration. So that might have already happened. So in each area, Kazon and the sections, there are 2 Memocom modules. So one on either end. This is where we as solo players, we're going to record what has happened to us during the playthrough. Whenever you enter a section, there's a Memocom, and you're going to check what other lamplighters have recorded there. Alfred has written amazing bits for this. And then in the one at the end, you can tell what you have lived. Yeah, so for further reference, in the case another lamplighter has to come here. Okay. It says in the manual of procedure that there's a high value asset situated on Intel 022. As outlined in your non-disclosure agreement, it is forbidden to discuss this asset. Do not interact with the asset. Okay, we don't know what it is, but we can't touch it. So, well, we might touch it and we don't know that it is. Okay. For the workflow, I mean, this would be the loop of the game. We enter an area, we listen to the memocoms, we visualize an overview of the area or what's there, and we have access to the transcripts from other lamplighters. Then we use Oracle, that it's a system that Alfred developed for this game. Each letter means something different. We have observe, resolve, act, conclude, leave evidence. So for all of these parts, there's a way of registering this. And okay, we use Oracle. Normally you enter, you roll for the semiotic standards list that Alfred has done, and you get some information of the place, and then you access with that and the memocoms, you build some sort of scenery for you to act. The good thing about this game is that, I mean, you can just be on a section like forever. I mean, you can be creating stuff all the time. And it's really amazing because that's where the solo journaling experience hits you. And then, well, we reinstate the power for the area. For doing that, we have to solve everything that's happening there. And then we record on the memocom what has happened, and we check for depth complications consulting the panic reference. The panic reference is something that I'm going to explain later, but it's like a normal panic check for all that you have live in a section. For those of you who don't know what a panic check is, you roll a d20 and it has to be above your stress level, if I recall correctly. Yeah. So for starters, every character in Mothership uh, is starts with 2 of stress. Yeah, so I may have to roll for stress stuff in different situations. Like for example, whenever I see for the first time a kind of creature, or when I'm surprised for an attack, or if I fail a save. Well, the weird thing for me about OSRs is that you have to be your own game master. I might be a lazy group player, but normally I I trust a lot my master with that things. And okay, it's going. If you see something uh, that I am not taking into account, please let me let me know, because if you say you should have rolled something, let me know through the chat. I am reading like a little bit, but and I'm going to ask for some uh, stuff while we're playing. But oh god, we are going to start because I can't believe that I have been talking for half an hour. I'm going to have some water, sorry. To be honest, I thought that we were going to, this was going to be like really hard. How was I going to feel an hour of gameplay? Okay, we are going to start fast. Whew. So, okay, so we start with the caisson. Yeah, we arrive at this place that I imagine for what we have been reading about this planet that obviously is desolated. I can't imagine a sun shining in this place, so I would think that it's a twilight area or something like that. I'm going to read the overview because I've reached someone left me on this platform, and I'm going to enter the caisson. So Mara, my character, is going to pick up the memocom. She will notice that there's no light, so the memocom has like a hand, like a thing. I'm not sure how to call it in English. Sorry, to give it power to its own, so you can access the information. So what I get from the memocom is the overview of the place. Yeah, it is not recommended to stay on the exposed offshore platform for extended amounts of time due to the likelihood of gale force 10 plus conditions. Okay, this planet is hell. Welcome to Tel 022. Please ensure the entrance is properly sealed before proceeding. The Neumat Helper unit will guide you through the compression process. You may experience some discomfort as your body adjusts. Whilst you wait to reach working level pressurization, please consider completing a letter of last resort using the form provided. After pressurization, you will be guided to the personal lift. Descent to section 1 takes approximately 200 seconds. Do not use the freight lift. The holding area at the base of the caisson houses an emergency hyperbaric chamber, washing station, and supply lockers for personal protective equipment. Section 1 is accessed via a decontamination corridor and sealed door. So we go to this place. First of all, God, I'm going to hear the other transcripts for the area. I'm not going to read all the register numbers for the people that were lamplighters before me. So I'm going to read them. I've got a bone to pick. If you leave a form for people to fill, maybe make sure you leave a working pen. Just a suggestion. Must be a pressure thing. My wife and kids will have to go without reading my impassioned parting words. Okay, just for you to know, this is the form that Alfred has made, and it's so cute. Is not the word, but I love it. This is my last resort uh, letter. Yeah, I printed for you to see it. I'm going to put it near you. We're going to do this all together. So, letter of last resort. I'm going to do this while going down. Mara is going to do that. Nothing to be written on this sheet except the date and signature of the sender. Sentences not required may be deleted. If anything else is added, the letter will be destroyed. My dear, I'm going to ask you this. Partner, offspring, parents, loved ones. So, to whom I'm sending this letter in case I get the terrible death here. You can do it on the chat if you want. Okay. Mm, well, I'm going to choose it myself, and I am going to say that I have an offspring. So I must leave you. Mm, there's a part that I have to leave blank for the admin to use. It says loss of life, loss of faculty, transfigurement is not in vain for. So, well, I have served the greater purpose, or I have helped build the greater future, or I have departed doing what I love. I'm quite sure that someone like Mara with the Eat the Rich patch won't say that she said anything of this, to be honest. But well, I have to choose one. Let's assume that she would say that I have helped build a greater future. And Mara doesn't care about this purpose, or certainly doesn't love this. I want to say thank you for everything. I'm sorry for everything. I regret nothing. Mm, to my child, I would say something like, I'm sorry for everything. I hope they send a good amount of money to him in case I die. I will always be with you, Mara Jacobs. Let's assume it's 21st January 2155. Okay, that's my letter. Amazing. I'm going to archive this. Mara will leave it downstairs. And okay, let's read a little another transcript. I'm not going to read all of them because if not, we are not going to play more a lot. Quite welcome party down here. The lift doors opened and I was greeted by hundreds of death crabs. Took me a while to be sure they were all dead. What with the torch casting shadows. The ground's damp and loose. I don't trust the floor on the west side. Stepping through those crab bits sure was unpleasant. The hyperbaric chamber is sealed shut. The supply lockers seem empty. Typical. The sound down here, I don't know. Not what I expected. And there's this groaning noise. I'm proceeding to section 1. Wait, just gotta make my panic check. 50 meters, right? Either that's just plain wrong or my gauge is out by one. I'm going to roll a 100. Yeah, terrible, the supply lockers. I'm going to roll 100 roll. It says 42. So that would be 92 meters. That can be it checks 50. So we are 92 meters down. Oof. So we have here, when we arrive to the lower part, we have the lockers, we have the hyperbaric chamber, and I wonder if there will be crabs, a lot of crabs. So I'm going to roll for what we see in the when we go down there. Alfred made an amazing semiotic standard, which I love because it's like I love it. And it's a 1d50 roll. So I'm going to roll a d100 and divide it by 2, and then round it up in case. So I got an 82. That's 41. Let's check what 41 says. Computer terminal system access. Yes. I was rolling this to check if there were dead crafts. So there are dead crafts here. I'm going to write down. That's what we observe as soon as we get out of the lift. Yeah. So I'm going to check also if the if the crabs are alive or dead. How would I do that? I think that I'm going to go turn on my flashlighter, and then I'm going to check how that goes. I'm going to roll again in the semiotic standard to see if there are alive crabs. Yeah, I'm so afraid of combat because I got those horrible stats. Just so you remember, I got a 19. The semiotic standard also has like a yes no in the columns, so I will check like turn on my flashlight, and first I'm going to say that, oh wow, those shadows were nasty. To be honest, the person that came before me was right. So I have a little jump. It's the first time that I see some of these crabs, so I'm going to roll for a panic roll before checking anything else, because it's the first time and they are a lot and they are dead. So I'm going to roll a d20, and I have to take two, like anything except by a 2 or a 1. Yeah, I got a 15, so I don't have any panic. I can deal with this. I'm prepared with my horrible stats. I can do this. So I'm going to go around, and so I'm going to, yeah, I think that no, I don't want to roll panic, but I think that it's cool for the, especially if it goes wrong. I mean, so I'm going to roll for the to check if there are crabs dead or alive. So I'm going to turn my flashlight. I'm going to go like poking them with my vibe sheet, not turn on, but like poking them just in case, ready to combat with my great skills. So I'm going to check on the semiotic standard if I get a yes or a no. Again, I roll a. It's raining a lot. Sorry if you hear that. I'm going to roll the a d100, and I'm going to divide it by 2 to see if it's a yes or no. So I got an 11. That's a 6 divided by 2. I have a lot of papers. Sorry. A 6 says no. There are no alive crabs. I'm so lucky. Okay, so we have the hyperbaric chamber that, if I recall correctly, was shut down. And then we have the supply lockers and the washing station. Mm, the hyperbaric chamber is something that you might need if you get something like that's called caisson disease, that it's like a problem with the pressure and different pressures above earth and down here. So I would like to have access to the hyperbaric chamber. So I'm going to head there. I'm going to check if it's still shut. So I'm going to do again an oracle roll again at a d50. This is a 23, so that's a 12. I'm bad at math, so I might be wrong sometimes. uh, do you hear me okay? Because it's like raining a lot. Uh, So 12, it says no. So uh, I forgot if the question was if it was shut or, yeah, it was still shut. Sorry. So it's not shut anymore. I'm going to try to open it. I'd assume that this will be some kind of strength check, because normally it would like open automatically, but there's no light here. So let's go into do a strength check for this. Uh, I'll remind you that my strength is 23. So I have to roll on my D100 the same or above, no, or under, sorry. So I have to, like, horrible chances of being able to open this. I got a 93, like, so I can't open it. I feel like my limbs are a little sore. And to be honest, this is a moment that I would need to check if there's something in the supply closet for me to recover my energy. I have some these military rations, but because it's part of my equipment, but I don't want to use them yet. So I'm going to check in the supply. Uh, uh, in the supply closet if there's something. So again, first of all, I'm entering a new place, so I'm going to roll for the symbiotic standard to see what's happening there before getting to the closet itself. So again, a D50, that's 63, it's 32. So a store, well, wow. I I got 32: storage, reliability, utility. So I would say that there's something here. I find some, for some reason, there's just to add some mystery to it, I'm going to say that I find thermos, more military rations. Perfect. I have 5. I'm going to roll a d4 to see. Ooh, maybe I'm not sure when they arrive here. Perfect. Yeah, I like it. I'm going to roll a d4, the enemy of many people. I enjoy doing my rolls physically. To see how many rations I find. So that's a 2. So I have +2 military rations, and Tony here says that they are marked. I'm going to roll. I'm going to eat one to recover my strength a little bit, and I'm going to check if they are good to eat. So I'm going to roll again, a d50 to see if it's yes or no. That's a 7, so that would be divided by 2, a 4. Chan chan. Let's see. It says no, so they are not okay. I'll have to do a roll, a save. This would be with body because it's something that I ingested, and to be sure that I am okay, I would need to roll a, a body save. It's 30. My saving point. I need to roll under 30 or under to be able to handle this situation. That's 19. Whew. So yeah, I'm okay. I feel a little bit dizzy, and like my stomach is upset, but nevertheless I just rest for a bit, and I feel better. I drink some water and that I brought, and anyway, I'm going to leave the other military ration. I will make a mark for it, like it's like I'm not sure how to say this in English, but that it's out of date, or like it shouldn't be consumed, something like that. I hope the idea goes there. So we've been in the storage room, we've been in the hyperbaric chamber. Turn operations, perfect, thanks. And we are I don't see much more to do here, so maybe we should we should try to turn the the power the power here. So I'm going to look for the oh wow, I forgot the word. Sorry. The power station, the backup power thing. Okay. Sorry. I'm going to search for it, and I obviously find it. I'm a teamster. I know more or less where these things are. Normally they have a separated closet for them. I'm going to check if it's locked or not. So let's see if that goes. I have to roll again. D50, that's a 40, that's 20. Hope it's not locked. Okay, perfect. So I open the closet, I see the machinery. I'll since I am a teamster, I'll try to check out what's wrong with it. It seems like some of the I'm going to check how you say this in English. Sorry, give me a second. The fuse, yeah, sorry. The fuse is it's like out of place or something like that. So I will try to fix it. I will do that with intellect, I guess. I don't think that it's a strength thing, but I also have mechanical repair. So I'm going to anyway. I'm going to use my jewelry skill, that it's an expert skill. It's the second level. It gives me a +15 to my save, to my check, and I am going to use intellect. That's 28 +15. I told you I'm bad at math. 28 plus uh mm, for what I remember, yeah, it's a 15%, but over 100 dice, so it would be a 15. But I'm not okay. Uh, I'm going to do it like this. Then we can check exactly how the mothership thing is. But I remember for the times I played that the the 15% is a 15 because it's over a diff 100. But well, we can check that later. I'm going to play like that. uh, Sorry if it's not like that. So that's 28 plus 15. It could be a 43. So I have to use my rigging in a intellect check. That's 43. I have to get a 43 or less to be able to fix this. I got an 81. Ah, God. Oh, God. So I forgot everything I ever learned. So it didn't matter at all if it was a percent or a 15. So I probably break this like terribly. Like I put the fuse the other way around, and I'm going to roll in the semiotic standard to see a description for this. That's an 84. That's 42 divided by 2. So that would be 42. Firearms, violence, suppression. Okay, well, I will relate this to like I might have started a fire here. Oof. I'm going to do a panic check because okay, I failed. So uh first, I think that I'm going to get stressed because I fail something like big time. So I'm going to have a 3 on stress, and I'm going to do a panic check for this. I got an 11, so I don't panic, but oh wow, I need to find something to turn this fire off, and I'm going to run around and try to go to the washing area that was here also to get some buckets of water because I can't find any extinguisher. So I'm going to check for some water on this washing area, and I'm going to check if there's accessible water here through the semiotic standards. I got a 59. That's 25, 30. Classified material, secret protection. No, sorry. Yes, there's water. Okay, so I'm going to carry some on a bucket that's there because it's the washing area. I'm going to do a strength check for this to see if I can carry. I'm like desperate, and I put more water than I can handle in the bucket. So I'm going to roll for that with strength. Let's see if I have anything that would help me. No, so I have to get 23 or less. I got a 75. I can't carry water. So I'm going to find if there's a here on in this area something like a towel or something like that to dump it to put water on it and put it over the fire. That seems like reasonable. Let's check if there's some towel here for 44. Yes, there's a towel, so I won't do a check for this because it's like I can handle it a humid towel. So I'm going to put it under the water and take it to the place and cover the fire. Let's see if this works. Yeah. So 86. So that's 86 divided 2, that's 43. Oh, yeah. Okay. So I could I could turn the fire off. Oh god, this was so stressful, and I think that I'm going to check if there's a fuse in some other part of this place. So I'm going to record my in the memocom what has happened. So I'll start now. This is the lamplighter Mara Jacobs. I have find dead crabs, none alive. I couldn't open the hyperbaric station, and I accidentally turn a fire on in the backup power supplier. I'm going to explore further to check if I can find anything to fix this. I'm going to proceed to go to section 1. So now I'm going to do my panic check. Here I'm going to show you or talk about the reference material that Alfred put. We have to leave evidence. That's part of the Oracle system. And for this, we have to complete a checklist in which we say all the incidents that we find, and then we roll a number for it on a D10. Whenever you repeat the number and the kind of incident, that's like, wow, it gets crazy for further in the game. So I'm going to explore that when I do the video review for this game. But now I'm going to say that we find that the only incident we had is the fire. So I'll put it here. I'll roll a D10. It's a level 2 incident, and now I'm going to do the panic check. Panic stands for Pneumatic and Narcotic Incident Chart. The panic reference conforms the recognized Mothership U1E procedure. Panic results that exceed your current stress level indicate no effect. So I'm going to roll my my D20, and I hope I pass it because I am in 3 of stress. And okay, so nothing happens to me, and I would proceed to section 1, but we are out of time for this part. So, well, I didn't die. It's so good when you decide everything that happens because you don't die. So I recommend it. We are going to have a break to set everything up to receive Alfred here. We're going to chat a little with him in a bit. Thank you all for hearing me and suffering me, and I hope that you enjoyed this playthrough. I'm really happy with doing this. So we go to a break and we'll be back in 5 minutes.
All right, like Armanda said, we will be back in just 5 minutes to sit down with Alfred Valley to talk about Armanda's playthrough of 1,000 Empty Lights. We'll also have a couple of announcements during the break that I'll be making, but I got to go set up all those scenes first and make sure everything is set. Stick around, and if you have any questions for Alfred, drop them in the chat, or Armanda. Like, this is our first one. Whatever you want to do. Whatever questions you have about Mothership, solo RPGs, anything you want these two delightful people to chat about, go ahead and drop them in, and we will be back in just a few moments. Hey, before we hop back into the interview with Alfred, a couple things we've got coming up. Tomorrow, we actually launch our first two-part series here on Plus One EXP. We're going to be playing The Between with Jason Cordova. That's on Monday and Tuesday at 3 p.m. Eastern Time. At Tuesday. Sorry, blah, 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 blah. It's going to be on Monday and Tuesday at 2 p.m. Eastern Time with Jason Cordova. We've also got Sean F. Smith and Max Lander joining us. I am super excited to be sitting down with both of them and to play this amazing mystery RPG. So go ahead and hit follow if you want to know about that. You can also find the videos on demand afterwards over on our YouTube channel. Also, a couple things I would love to have you check out if you are able. We are in our last 2 days for itch funding our Through the Void Ashcan Power Up. It's our minimalist space RPG. If you like things like Mothership, you should absolutely check out Through the Void because it'll tickle a lot of the same funny bones, but have some other things that you can explore as far as team brewing, player-facing rules, and a few other elements, but in that classic OSR space flavor. We have a new project we're going to be helping promote next month, and that's Nuclear. I should actually ask Dom how he pronounces his entire name. Dom Leoti's 13 Hunters is coming to GameFound. We'll be helping promote and host that, print it, and a couple of other things. I'll drop links to all of that in the chat, along with the link to this Kickstarter project that's going to be launching on February 1st, and Armanda's new art-based PowerPoint RPG over on her itch page also. All those links are going to be coming in the chat once we go back live. But again, if you have any questions, want to find out more about this game, solo RPGs, or anything else, these are two great people to ask those questions to. Go ahead and drop them in the chat or the comments if you're watching somewhere else, and we'll make sure those get asked on air, or we'll follow up with them afterwards to get your question answered. But again, we'll be back in just about 1 minute.
Okay, so we are back. We have Alfred Valley with us. I'm so thrilled to have him here with us today to talk about this amazing game and everything. Well, if anyone has any question to ask Alfred, please put it on the chat. I have made some points to talk with him. First of all, we know a little bit about Alfred, the game designer, but if you want to share something about your regular life, a brief intro about yourself, or if you want to focus on any game you have made or anything that you wish to speak to, this is the moment, Alfred. Welcome.
Hi, thank you for having me. So I'm Alfred Valley. I'm just some guy in London who sometimes plays at making tabletop games. Probably my biggest project before this is Lay on Hands, which was my Zine Quest project from last year, which you might be familiar with. But yeah, other than that, I'm I'm just someone who has a day job and kids, and sort of I try and squeeze this stuff into every other part of my life. All the other time that I get is dedicated to game design, basically at the moment.
Perfect. Okay, well, we know you a little better, or we know a little bit more about you, because sometimes happens that like I like to give dimension to people, like I'm I mean, people know I am Armanda, or well, some people, and like more or less what I do, but they don't know nothing about my real life. I feel like a superhero or something like that when I'm in the RPG Twitter, things like that. Uh, so well,
I think that's a good way to be, isn't it? That's a way to I don't know, put a positive spin on things.
yeah.
When I first so here's a confession. Alfred Valley isn't my real name. It's a sort of pseudonym. The big reveal.
Oh, I can't believe this. Armanda
This is
isn't
it.
my real name either.
It's an exclusive. It's a +1 XP exclusive. No, but I think I originally adopted a pseudonym, just like you say, to sort of have that role that I can play, and for me, that role is being a game designer.
Yeah,
sort of
yeah.
yeah. You understand, I think, don't you?
Yeah, I get it. I get it. So perfect. Some people just put a name of like X X games. So some of us just pick a random name and we keep that. Perfect. So if you had to recommend a solo game to people, which one would be? I mean, if you want to recommend one of yours, it's okay. But if you want to recommend some other, it's okay too.
Yeah, I couldn't possibly pick a favorite. I've been thinking about this, and I think that's the really nice thing about playing solo. If you compare to just a normal group style game,
Yeah.
you get into this whole sort of situation of being invested or having this sort of stasis around a certain system, because it's so hard to get a bunch of people to change to try a different game, basically. And I think if you are used to playing solo, you can probably relate to this. It's the nice thing about it is you get to chop and change whenever you want, so you can have a certain experience that's very action fueled one week and just decide, well, I'm just going to learn a new system or try something else for the following week. So that's how I do things. But the last game I played, and I have it here, the last game I properly played anyway, was the Portal at Hill House by Travis D. Hill and Lindy Farris Hill, which is all about wandering through a cursed house. And obviously that's such a rich topic, emotionally. It's really a lot of potential to it, which I think that game absolutely sort of delivers on. So I'd absolutely recommend it to anyone. I think it's very accessible as well if you're not used to solo games.
Perfect. Cool. I like the recommendations that I haven't played that game, but recommendations of games that make more like down to earth the experience of solo gaming for people that are not used to it. Like I like that those games exist, and I like to recommend them. So I'm going to check that one. So let's do some advice. I know that, or some comments or some tips or thoughts for solo players and for solo designers. If you have anything to recommend or to beware of.
My tips for basically, I think I've got tips on either side that are related to each other. I think about when I'm a player, and something I probably want to say to other people playing solo games is, you always come to places where the rules maybe don't necessarily completely outline the situation you're in, and times like that, it can get really. It can easily break the immersion of the experience you're having. So I'd always recommend for players, if you ever come across one of those problems where you feel like the rules leave you wanting for an answer, to just feel empowered to make your own ruling, basically, to sort of decide what should happen based on your sort of interpretation of the game or the feel of the game, and then just stick to it, basically. And that, I think, potentially a lot of players feel like they can't do that. They feel like you have to sort of stick to the letter of the law when it comes to rules. But I say I'll just forget about that. And I think on the flip side, in terms of talking to designers, whilst I mean, I don't know if I'm qualified to give any advice for designers, but the thing I always think about is it's a sort of mark of good design, at least in this area, to know when to be quiet, in rules and things like that. Because really, the rules of a game are much more than just like the bit of text that comes with the game. The whole presentation of the game, be it like the aesthetics or the layout or just the sort of reputation of the game, they're all like parts of the rules as well, as far as I'm concerned. So by knowing when to sort of leave off in the rules, you're creating that sort of situation where a player can feel like they have permission to, to make their own rulings if they need to, because making rules that cover absolutely every single situation is very hard, if not impossible. So you sort of have to embrace this idea of a certain amount of openness, I think.
Cool. Yeah. Well, today OSRs has this thing that you can rule overruling. So today I like said, okay, well, I'm going to roll for this, and I'm going to roll for this, and I know that I didn't follow every step. So yeah, that's cool. It's a good advice. I like it. We have 2 questions for you from the chat. I'm going to ask Tony first because it's related more or less to what we were talking, and then I'm going to do the other one. What was your intro to solo play? Was it FF or something else? I'm not sure what FF is.
FF, Final Fantasy.
Yeah, but
yeah, it's Final Fantasy. Right.
It's Final Fantasy. Okay.
What was my introduction? Fighting Fantasy. Oh, of course.
Fighting Fantasy. Okay.
It's a really good question. I'm trying to think back on what was the. Actually, yeah, I know what it was. So when I first really started exploring the idea of what an RPG could be, a lot of the stuff I was looking at first of all was like micro games, things like Roll for Shoes or All Out of Bubblegum, and then I think naturally that research of mine drifted into lyrical games because they're often quite short as well. And I have a very strong memory of the first one that I properly came to was The Machine by Adira and Slattery. And that's left, quite a lasting impression on me. And if you have ever played that game, I think it probably has done the same for you, because it's very unique in tone and also just sort of delivery.
Cool. I haven't played. I'm going to check for it.
Oh yeah, it's essential.
I'm going to learn a lot today. So then I'm going to do one of the questions I have here, and then I'm going to do the other one that they post there, because so we can get a flow on the on the questions. So how's your relationship with the creative process? Is there something that you always do? Do you have some ritual or something when you are creating a game?
Yeah, so the way I create things is so tied up with just time. So like I said, I sort of work a full-time day job. It's an office job. I spend a lot of the rest of my time looking after my 2 young children, and so everything else was squeezed in between. But I can't really think of anything I've made, game-wise, that hasn't started in the dark, in the middle of the night, when I'm probably crouched beside a child's bed who's having trouble sleeping. And it's all those sort of idle, weird, surreal hours that somehow bring out these ideas for me. And I don't know, maybe that's reflective of the content, I'm not quite sure, but it seems at this point like an essential part of the process. But I'm very much someone who subscribes to this idea that creative boundaries are a good thing, and in a sense that element of not having a lot of time to focus on stuff is the thing that actually makes stuff happen for me. It has to sort of fit into the spaces in between.
Yeah, it's a thing that I am discovering, that when you have free time, you can I can't just when I have a whole, no, I'm not sure, like I have a day off and I say, oh, I'm going to be so productive, I'm going to do all the layout, I'm going to write, I'm going to do all this, and I'm like, oh no, I've been playing this stupid game of moving to different houses for 3 hours, what I have done of my life. Yeah.
I
I've been
mean,
playing Unpacking. It's
yeah,
it's
yeah.
a really cool game. So okay.
I'm really, I mean, on that note, the thing I'm really looking forward to, and I think I've promised this to myself after running the Kickstarter, is giving myself like a month or so to just catch up on all the zines and games that I've got that I just we haven't had a chance to look at. And so I want a sort of slow month of just consuming stuff and trying to
Yeah,
sort of push away the part of me that always wants to like work on an idea.
I understand. Yeah. Well, hope you get to do that. So we're going to go with one of the questions that Dice Ghost made. He says, they say, sorry, what were some of the considerations that you found yourself making while modifying another game to be a solo experience?
Good question. Hi, Dice Ghosts. Well, actually, taking Portland Hill House, that's a good example. And I think it's something you can't fully get away from with solo games. But definitely in my playthrough of that, even though it's a well-written game, it's really well laid out in terms of the game loop. And I was playing with some variants. There's some variants listed at the back of that game. And I think it got to sort of a peak level of like complexity in terms of I have to resolve something, but actually, do I resolve this now or do I do this bit before? Because that actually has quite a big effect on the outcome. And yeah, I mean, I can't remember exactly what the rule was, but it was very much a process then of being like, well, I think the game wants me to do it this way. Like I've got an understanding from the feel of the game that I think actually this is the logical way. And the key thing after that point is actually like sticking to that decision. Well, I mean, it's only key in terms of like your own sanity, I guess, really. When you're playing through the game, you want to sort of have some sort of basis to carry on with. But that said, and there's the caveat, when you're playing by yourself, you can do whatever you like. So, it's up to you how organized you are with, any rules or not rules, basically.
Yeah. Perfect. So, how do you catch interest in Mothership? That's one of my questions.
Yeah, I think it really was like I was only firstly properly involved in not Kickstarter, in Zine Quest last year, and it was definitely there because there were a couple of big projects that were Mothership based that like really caught my attention. I've got a few here. There's, like Ian Newsom's The Drain, Desert Moon of Calf, Joel Hines.
Oh,
Bit closer so you can actually see. Oh, am I still here?
yeah, you are there, but please show
Here we are again. Sorry.
one at a time because
yeah.
both,
So I mean, that's an example of two of the Mothership.
Oof. Yeah.
There we are.
Yeah, more or less. Yeah, we'll share it later if not.
But I mean, they're examples of like two of many like great Mothership.
Perfect.
Sure, fine. You can hear me still.
Yeah. It's breaking a little, but you're still there. Okay. Yeah.
Am I still there?
Yeah. You're there. Yeah.
Okay, great.
There you are. Perfect.
Okay.
So
let's see.
That's how you catch interest in Mothership.
Oh, yeah, I can hear you now.
Yeah.
Great.
Okay,
Hopefully that's
so
just a blip. But yeah, last year the Zine Quest.
perfect. So, and
Yeah, I mean, so the thing is, there's such a vibrant third party scene for Mothership.
perfect. Yeah, yeah. They it's like super a super productive gang, the Mothership gang. It's like they make stuff all the time, and it's all awesome. Yeah, like yeah.
It's a gang.
I envy them a little, to be honest. Well, you're going to be now part of the Mothership gang. So, okay, and okay, we have some questions there, but I'm going to do
I
another.
feel esteemed to be part of it. There's a really cool bunch of people.
Yeah. Which were the inspirations for Thousand Empty Light, particularly? Do you hear me?
Yeah, yeah, I can hear you.
Did you hear the question?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay. I was asking you which were
Yep, yeah,
your
about
okay, perfect.
inspirations.
Yep.
Yeah, I think one of the first things that sort of inspired this adventure was, I mean, in the UK last year there was a really bad cave-in accident. I remember reading, like, fascinated but terrified about the details of this really horrible incident in this cave in the Brecon Beacons, and that led me to start reading around about further, like, reports of cave-in and cave diving, like, mishaps, and, like, terrifying myself basically. And so that was, like, one of the sort of major inspirations. But that sort of collided with this idea, like, at the time I was thinking around, like, what's the most linear type of dungeon you could make, which led me to the idea of a tunnel. And so I sort of was giving myself this challenge of, like, is there something interesting I can make out of that? And there's a bunch of other stuff, tonally there's stuff like The Temple by H.P. Lovecraft. It's a story.
Yeah.
Strangely, the song Witch to Lineman by Glenn Campbell was an inspiration. It's this idea of the loneliness of a single person sort of operating out in the middle of nowhere with sort of limited contact to the rest of the world. I mean, that's sort of like at the heart of this adventure, Thousand Empty Light. And just other stuff like corporate bureaucracy, that's familiar to me from my day job. And I should give a shout out to Chris Bissett's random adventure generator, because that directly gave me the name for this adventure. It comes directly from that.
Oh, cool. But well, it's a really weird name, so it makes sense that you use a random generator. And
Yeah, I like that. I mean, that obviously the weird sort of singular aspect just it makes it sort of stick in your mind.
yeah.
I'm sort of still thinking about it in a way.
I wish I have gotten one name like this. I always got like board tower, things like that. So,
You didn't press the button enough.
yeah. Okay. So, related to this, did you ever go diving? On what's your relationship to the sea? What do you think about this?
Yeah, absolutely. Never go and diving. Like, it's one of those things when, like, this stuff fascinates me, and it's sort of, I guess, to a morbid level. Like, I'm fascinated by it, but I'm absolutely terrified of it. You'd never find me diving. I've got a friend who's really into diving who has been helping me advise. It's been helping advise me on certain aspects of the game, stuff
Cool.
related to decompression and things like that. But he's so into it. He keeps telling me that I'd love it. He thinks I'd be a good fit for diving, and I have to keep telling him that absolutely I'm not ever going to do it ever. But the sea is something I have great respect for, but it is, after all, quite scary and mysterious place. When you talk about at depth.
It's like it's crazy when I see at home with my partner, we see a lot of documentaries, and it's like they love the deep sea, and I'm like, someone should turn this on fire and take it out of existence, because I can't deal with that this thing exists there. It's like crazy.
Some
Yeah,
of
but
the creatures you get in the really deep ocean are just fascinating. They're stranger than fiction.
yeah, it's they are so weird with the I mean, the colors, how they see. There's a really good documentary that was I don't remember exactly the name, but it's in Netflix, about how different it's like the Earth at night or something like that. And it's so weird, all the things that you can see, because now we have a technology to analyze the things that are happening when there's no sun there.
Yeah.
And it's so crazy. Well, sorry, I
No,
I
no,
got
it's stuff that really interests me.
yeah, it's like, well, it's a really good documentary. It's like 8 episodes or something like that. And it's amazing, because now we have cameras that can check out on how animals see, like, not like I mean, knowing how they see, and using filters and specialized cameras to use at night, and to use how they on to recreate how they see and stuff like that. And it's amazing. Well, sorry.
That sounds great.
I like documentaries, but don't tell my partner, because if not, they'll make me watch a lot of documentaries. Okay. Okay. So we are going. Someone was asking, and I want to know also. And I have seen some of the art pieces for this game, and wow, it's amazing. I can't believe it's really really nice, and mind blowing, to say it
Thank
some
you.
way. And here someone asked, what inspires your visual style? uh, what do you look at? What are your inspirations for your art? And I want to talk a little bit about the art in Thousand Empty Light, because it's really really cool. So
Yeah.
that's
Well, thank you for the kind words. Yeah, visually, what am I inspired by? I'm still trying to work that out. I think potentially I'm coming to the role-playing space from a slightly different trajectory from a lot of people. You know, I experienced a lot of sort of medieval fantasy type literature and films when I was younger, but not massively. I think a lot of the stuff that inspires me it sort of sits outside that stuff. So a lot of classic and modern literature, like weird fiction, fine art itself is often quite a big inspiration. So with a few projects now, I've like been at a gallery and I've seen a piece on the wall, taken a photo, and that's directly been like an inspiration later on for how I lay something out, for instance. So I think I'm just a sort of bit of a magpie in that respect. I'm just always on the lookout for something that just like tickles a certain part of my brain, and I'll make a note of it. And it's the nature of these things. When you work on these projects, you might start to grasp for something to sort of to proceed with, and then suddenly your mind sort of mashes something that you've seen once before with this other thing, and then that's that's what you get. And that's probably quite indicative of the art I've been making for Thousand Empty Lights so far. Like compared to Lay on Hands, which was very much like a single sort of process, and I went through that process of making that art for every single piece, involving like printmaking basically. This is really different, and it's quite refreshing in comparison, because I've been doing stuff with like archive photos. I've been drawing, been sort of doing some digital manipulation stuff. I've even done some sculpting. So yeah, I think I'm enjoying just being able to explore lots of different mediums. The one thing that brings it all back to the same aesthetic is this, the sort of Xerox photocopier type thing, which so far has just been me manipulating things digitally. But I really want to like go exploring my local area to find like a beat up photocopy machine that I can use and exploit to achieve this visual identity.
Work in a photocopy shop or
Yeah,
something.
exactly. I have a fear that like if I find one that's still operating, it's going to be too good quality. You want
What?
one that's sort of on its last legs.
I mean, you can come here because we have like a lot of photocopy
All
shops.
right, yeah. See, I don't know. I think
Like,
the library nearby maybe has one. I can't think anywhere else that has one anymore around me.
oh wow, it's like, well, you live in the UK, but but here in Argentina, it's like really normal to have photocopy shops,
Right,
like
yeah.
a lot.
I was sort of wish for some more of that. I think. I miss the that smell of the photocopier, for instance.
Yeah, yeah, this will sound like bad, but the toner smell and the paper smell, but
It's one of
uh
my favorite smells. I think there's nothing else quite like it.
yeah, it's really nice. Oh, okay. So I like making a parenthesis on the art thing. I know that you are building the crab.
Yeah, I think
Tell
actually,
the Talk about
maybe
that a little bit.
it's out of screen. There's on my shelf. I think maybe it's been cropped on stream. I'm not quite sure.
No,
Is
we
a
don't see it. Yeah.
is a little it's a tiny little crab I've been sculpting. Just because I didn't feel like trying to manipulate an existing image, or I don't know. I just wanted to try something different, and it's been a lot of fun. I think I still need to do a photo shoot of the crab. Me and the crab need to get some time in to get the perfect sort of candid shot of it. The sort of candid scuttling away in the dark with heavy flash type photo. But that's going to be fun too, I think.
A photo shoot for a crowd that has 50 on combat.
Yeah, exactly. They're surprisingly combative, I think.
So cool. Okay. And what is your favorite part from this project,
Yeah,
particularly?
yeah. I think the thing that at the moment I'm really enjoying is the semiotic standard thing. So I guess for anyone who doesn't know, there's this really cool thing with the original Alien film,
Yeah.
where the artist who was working on that film, Ron Cobb, made this semiotic standard, and basically it's a chart of different sort of warning signs and hazard signs that when you sort of know about it, you start to see it in the film, like in the background. It's sort of fully integrated basically, and it's some ways like gives this greater sense of immersion to that film, because you without even properly sort of consciously realizing it, there's a actual system at play that that's had a lot of thought put into it. And that's basically what I'm trying to replicate with what's essentially, if you're talking about solo games, the Oracle. It's the thing that you can solve for all those like open questions, like what do I see, or how do I feel about the situation. That's what the semiotic standard's for. And I did this for Lay on Hands. It had its own Oracle, which was just 36 entries. But basically,
Yeah.
I'm making the same thing again, but 50, not the same thing again, but the same sort of
Yeah.
idea, I guess. But wrapping it in this language of being like a health and safety chart. So you have the main symbol, which is just like warning for fire or flooding or electrical hazard. But then you have this suggestions of other readings, which hopefully gives you enough freedom to interpret them so that it would fit into the context of whatever situation your character's facing. But yeah,
Yeah.
at the moment, like I've only done a handful of those actual like designs for those signs, but I'm quite looking forward to actually building in the rest of them.
It was really fun for using to use it. Like, well, what I do with this variety of words that maybe doesn't have don't have anything to do with what I'm doing, but well, I interpret it as I can, and okay, it says firearms. Okay, this thing caught fire. Like
Yeah,
that kind of thing. I think that that's amazing, and it's really an interesting tool for us solo players and solo designers. I think that it will be a good asset
Yeah,
to
I mean
use.
that's the thing. I'm really hoping that's the case. As with Lay on Hands, where the Oracle I made for that, I wanted to make sure it would work standalone, so you could take it out of that game and use it for whatever you wanted to do. Basically, if you wanted to add a little extra sort of
Yeah,
inspiration to what you're interpreting. Same with this. I want this to be something that you can just strip right out of, a Mothership game, or like this particular venture. You could strip the semiotic standard out of it. You can play it in your own Mothership game or just outside of Mothership. So long as it's, vaguely in the character of that chart. It's a set of
yeah,
warning signs that are sort of sci-fi based. So any sort of sci-fi game, I'm hoping it would be valuable for you as a solo player.
cool. Yeah, I like sci-fi, so I'm going to use it. Something I'm going. You should do a sham with that when you have it. uh, so I nothing to do with this, but I've started doing something for the Lion Hands jam, but I didn't get on time to do it because
Oh, really? Wow.
yeah, and it was I've just started designing stuff, so it was like a crazy SRD to me, and
Yeah,
it
yeah.
was hard. But I wanted to do like a cyberpunk hack of it, like inspiring Neuromancer.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, uh, someday I'll do it, but I'm
That's really
not
cool.
sure.
I'd love to see it. I mean, as a designer, and I think you probably feel this as well, it's almost nothing more validating than seeing and like reading about players, like one of the players, other game designers, like taking apart your game and like considering it at a different level. It's something quite special about that feeling of someone going beyond just the sort of face value and actually looking at what makes it tick. It's great.
Yeah. Well, if someone else has a question, this is the time for writing it, because we are going to talk about the crowdfunding. And okay, someone says, Dice says, same. The reduction down to 4 contextual moves is great. They say that.
Thanks.
uh, eh, so let's talk a little bit about what is going to happen during Simo with Thousand Empty Light. Uh, it's weird that it doesn't has the plural.
Yeah, it's easy to get caught up on that.
Yeah. Uh, are you? It's going to be on Kickstarter. It's going to be in other way, like backer kit or something like that. What have you planned for this?
Yeah, so it goes on to Kickstarter 1st of February, alongside a
Perfect.
lot of other projects, not necessarily just on Kickstarter. It's going to be a busy month. It's there for 2 weeks. But yeah, I've got plans to open up pre-orders after that, because obviously not everyone wants to go via Kickstarter, which is completely understandable. But yeah, so a lot of my time
Okay.
over the last couple of weeks has been building the Kickstarter page and just sort of making everything to service that page. It's quite addictive, but ultimately frustrating experience.
Well, you know that I'm pretty new on game designing, so I haven't used Kickstarter. And even if I wanted, I couldn't, because I'm Argentinian, so I can't put stuff
Yeah,
there.
it's such a pain. Yeah,
But so I won't. I will never know the pain of doing
you're
a Kickstarter
you're
page, and
you're
I'm
safe from
thankful.
that. Yeah,
But
I mean, to be honest, what I want to do with this campaign is to basically, after it gets into the place where I that's it. It's going to be my last Kickstarter. I don't need to use Kickstarter again, which
mhm,
I'm not keen to do, basically.
okay, cool. Um, mm, well, I don't have any more questions about this. I just want to say, okay, that has nothing to do with Alfred, but the physical version of Paranoid Android is coming. Uh, So
Love
someone
it.
asked that. Yeah, it's coming.
When's it coming? Tell us.
Uh, it's going to be printed by us in Rooks Press. So it's going to be
Oh,
UK
I
based.
mean,
Uh,
yeah. Oz is great.
so
Spur Express is really
yeah,
good.
they are super cool and they've been super understanding. And I'm working on the layout to adapt it for printing, and it was made A4 and it has to be A5 and well, things like
Oh
that.
no.
But it's the nightmare of anyone that uses
Just
Affinity
always
Publisher.
stick with A5.
Oh yeah, I'm not sure why it was. I mean, like I don't remember why I took that decision, but it was there. So things that
I'm
happens to new people.
Yeah, I'm so glad that's happening though. That Oz is helping out with that. It's one. I mean, I talked about having a month or two to catch up on stuff I haven't got to play. That's a great example of something I
Oh.
want to catch up on. I might have to wait until the physical release because I like having a book or a zine in my hands.
Oh no, yeah, I'm starting to organize things to be able to receive physical things, because it's like we are just to have PDFs of everything that I like. And well, that's that. But I think that I have worked around it to get to buy stuff. So back to the Kickstarter is launching. You are doing a short campaign, so that's good for your health, because
Yeah,
I've been
hopefully.
told that it's terrible to
Well,
have
you get into this.
a month.
You get into the period in the middle where, I mean, you get so addicted from normally the first 24 hours, the first 48 hours, when
F5,
seeing people
F5,
coming in.
F5.
Exactly, yeah. Every single pledge is like another sort of little nugget of validation. And then you get to sort of what's called the doldrums in the middle, where attention sort of drops off. You sometimes get people, retracting their pledges. And I think everyone who's put up a campaign has at least one person, maybe it's the same person, who pledges, cancels, pledges, cancels, and you end up thinking, I want to just email this person and be like, I'll give you the copy. If you're, I feel bad that you're going through some sort of stress about, backing it. You can just have it. But yeah, all that to look forward to.
Oh God. Can you tell us a little bit about the tiers or rewards or things like that, if you want to? Because
Yeah.
if you want to, because
Yeah.
I have my eyes set on the collectors.
Yeah,
So
okay. So yeah, the idea is for the physical. So I offer digital tiers. Obviously, not everyone can get physical or can justify it cost wise. So they're absolutely. I'll have digital tiers. For the physical one, the zine itself is going to be risograph printed. That's the idea anyway. And that you can buy that on its own. I've also commissioned a soundtrack to be made by a guy called Gus BC, who sort of makes like eclectic, off-kilter electronic music. And I gave him the brief of just making like weird motoric dungeon sci-fi music. And he's been pumping out the tunes, and everything I've heard so far has just been amazing. So as well as the actual zine itself, there's going to be a limited run tape cassettes. And the really cool thing, the thing I'm looking forward to with that is I'm trying to get it printed with this special, what's called a Maltese cross packaging. So instead of a plastic case, you have this thing, paper, basically, card, that folds out to a cross shape. And the idea behind that is it's going to give me enough space to put on like extra content. The idea is for it to be like a whole extra area of the adventure that you can explore if you unfold the sort of packaging of the tape cassette. And that's
I have a
something
tape
that
recorder, so I
I
will
do.
be able to
Perfect.
listen.
And that's something that is going to be part of this like collector's package, I'm calling it. So you have the zine, you have the tape cassette, you also have the patch. There's going to be a patch for day one packers, but also you can just buy it if you're in the collector's tier. And other things. So I've also I was trying to think about like ways to like enrich that offer by but also not like massively up like packaging, because obviously I want people from all around the world to be able to like justify buying this. So the thing I settled on was a dust cover. It's going to have this like really cool like gold printed dust cover to sort of add to your copy of the zine. That's, you know, obviously going to help preserve it, I guess, but it's just going to be a sort of like something that's visually nice, and also has more opportunities to add a bit extra content in the inside flaps. And then aside from that, going back to this idea of wanting the semiotic standard to be sort of universal, it's that tier also includes like a bookmark basically of the semiotic standard, something that you can easily just take away and put into whatever you're reading, basically to just add it to, you know, whatever game you're playing. And finally, and here's the thing that in some ways I'm most excited about, is there's going to be a bit of text in the game that you can try and think of the easiest way to explain this, but basically the limited edition collector's package, each one of those is going to receive a unique code. Each person that backs is going to receive a code that's unique to them, and if you like go through the effort of using that code to decipher the bit of text that's in the zine, you'll get a message that's completely unique to your copy, and that is basically like an extra objective to your adventure, and that can range from something that's like maybe fairly doable to something that's completely like like wild.
Wow.
And so it's the nice thing is it adds sort of something sort of quite novel to the gameplay, but I think I like the idea that you can take that message and try and like interpret what it means in the grand scheme of like the mission you're on. Why are you being asked to do this? And it sort of has like narrative sort of complications as well.
Wow, so cool. That's amazing. It's a lot of things.
Yeah.
It's okay. Here, Dice Ghost also asked if anyone has solved the puzzle in Tundra Bower yet.
What's that? Say again? So, oh yeah, in Tundra Bower. So yeah, Tundra Bower is this setting that I made as part of the stretch goals for Lay on Hands, and so it's basically it's a system agnostic setting, but it's designed with Lay on Hands in mind. And the only thing that really pins it to Lay on Hands is this cryptic sort of table of like letters on the first page, and basically there's something there to be deciphered. As far as I can tell, to answer the question, Nice Ghost, no one has yet shown me that they've translated that into anything. But I'm excited to see that day come one day.
But it has a solution.
What's that?
It has a real solution. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh God, I'm going to get it.
When I made it, I thought, oh, this is going to be really easy. Someone's going to like post this on Twitter like day one. I mean, if they even looked at the game, but I still don't know. Maybe it is just really opaque and hard to understand. But that sort of thing, I really love putting stuff like that in games, like a little extra sort of thing to uncover.
Nice. Yeah. Okay. Well, if no one else has any more questions, I think we are done for today. I'm like really exhausted after all this talking.
Yeah, flop after this.
It's my first time on stream, and it was crazy. Yeah, but it was nice, and I hope that everything went fine for everyone that's seeing.
I'm going to hop in as an embodied voice so everyone can hear me now, not just y'all who have been secretly able to hear me this whole time. You did a phenomenal job. Everybody give some love to Armanda in the chat. Alfred, also, I reached out to you because I really wanted you to be one of the first people we had to do this, and Armando was interested in it, and I'm super glad all this was able to come together. So thank you for coming on. I'm so excited for this first in our Alone with Armanda series. So thanks for being our I'm
Thank
crying
you so much
a little
for
bit.
me.
Sorry. Like, I'm so excited to have Armanda join the team here.
It's really cool.
But would love to have y'all. Anybody who's listening right now, go check out both of these things. And these are just two phenomenal creators who I really love. and have really enjoyed getting to look at. And this is an area that I don't play around in a whole lot, so I'm super, super excited for seeing what comes. Just a reminder, everybody go to ttrpg.link /1000 ELKS. It has nothing to do with elks. It just has to do with 1000 and then empty light. But please support this project when it goes live. Also, Armanda, I want you to tell people, we don't have a date yet, but we do know what the next live stream we're going to be doing. Do you want to tell everybody what that is?
We know the next game that we are going to have, that it's by Disaster Tourist. I want to say the name correctly, so give me a second. I don't want to...
I'll vamp while you're doing that. Yeah, the game is a solo RPG by Kirby Franklin, also known as Disaster Tourism, over on Twitter. It's going to be coming out from Exalted Funeral later on this month, so it's not going to be a funding one. It's just going to be one you can go support. We're going to be doing the same kind of format. It's a short little taste of actual play followed by an interview with Kirby, who's a good friend of mine, so it was really convenient that when Armanda was like, I really want to play this game, and I think you follow the person, and I was like, I have a conversation with them tonight because they're just my friend.
The game is called Evergreen Wilds National Park. It's a brochure game in which you go to work during a season at this national park. That's more or less the thing of the game, and it's amazing.
I'm going to be tuning in for that one. I'm really excited to see all the other ones in the series.
Another weird connection with that is you talked about Desert Moons of Karth earlier, Alfred. The creator of that is a park ranger. Joel is a park ranger who spends most of his year at parks going through things. So I love seeing some of those little itty bitty bits kind of come through. So I need to ping him when we have that. So if you have not yet, hit follow for the channel, hit subscribe over on YouTube where we keep all of our videos in process. I'm going to drop some links again. Armanda, also tell people about the art game that you just released.
Okay. Well, I wasn't prepared for this.
Just the two sentence elevator pitch.
It's called Art Exhibit. It's a solo art collecting and journaling game about taking pictures in a museum or getting them online and creating yourself a character. It's an art collector, and someone asked them to put up an exhibit, and it has that's that more or less. You get to take pictures if you are able in your place to go to museums, or you get them online and you answer to prompts with pictures, basically.
Awesome.
That's that.
And if you want to play with a crab you've been sculpting, it's 100% compatible with sculpted crabs.
Yeah. That's really good to hear.
Armanda, do you have a clever sign-off for the end of our streams? It's okay. I don't have one either for our normal ones. With that said, why don't y'all just wave at the screen as we get ready to go? Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Just a reminder to everybody who's listening right now to go support this great project at ttrpg.link /ELKS. That's 1000 Empty Light Kickstarter. Also, check out 13 Hunters coming soon to GameFound from Dom Leotti. Also, we have Through the Void that's finishing up its January itch funding in the next couple days. And then, of course, tomorrow we have our actual play of The Between with Jason Cordova. It's going to be a 2-part series, Monday and Tuesday. If you can't join us live, join us. Check out the VODs afterwards. Thanks, everybody, so much for being with us today, and we'll see you next time.